Huss, appreciate your time. It is a tough go as of late for the Winnipeg Jets, though. This 6-game slide really couldn't have come at that much worse of a time as we get to the end of the regular season. What's the most concerning part of this stretch for the Jets?
Holy smokes, that's a loaded question, Tyler. What's going on, fellas? Great to hang with you. Listen, it's been bad overall. I mean, I guess goaltending. I mean, the Jets still have Connor Hellebuck, and Laurent Brossoit has been brilliant. And it certainly has not been on those individuals. The power play has been a disaster. I mean, they finally scored. I think it was 19 straight where they hadn't popped one with the man advantage. The penalty kill has regressed after a pretty nice start to the second half of the season. But it's pretty hard not to look at what's happening right now with the Winnipeg Jets, and in particular, this half dozen games where they've gone without a win and not looked directly at the top line. Mark Scheifele, not even 2 weeks ago against the New York Rangers at MSG, looked like he was channeling 2018 playoff Mark Scheifele. He had a hat trick, and the Winnipeg Jets beat the Rangers, and I can tell you that people around here were really excited. That was one of their signature wins of the season. Since then, it has been a train wreck. I think Kyle Connor is -10 in his last 10 games since then. Scheifele is about -7. And, I mean, we can talk about the depth of the team and the fourth line and Adam Lowry's line. There's not too many teams in the National Hockey League that can win consistently, getting killed when their top line is out there for 20 minutes a night. And unfortunately, that has been the case, although things are going to look different when the team drops the puck tonight against the Kings.
Yeah, and let's just, for fun and hypothetical sake, let's say that, as poorly as the Jets have played with their 4-point cushion over the Preds, that they'll find a way to hang on to that number 3 spot in the Central, all of which begs the question. I know the Stars have a slight edge right now over the Avs. If you're a Winnipeg Jet fan, which team do you want to face more? I know what the season series numbers would say, but would you rather have Colorado or Dallas, Huss?
Me personally, I think Dallas. I mean, there's something about Colorado that just scares the heck out of me. I mean, they are playing at such a high level there. I know they lost that game to Montreal last week, but overall, Frank, they look like they are exactly where you'd want a contending to be right now, getting better and getting ready to be at their best for the playoffs, which unfortunately is the opposite of what Winnipeg is doing. Like, Dallas has been so impressive all year. I think there's still some questions as to where Jake Ottinger is this season. I mean, with some of the numbers that he's put forth, that hasn't been the case in head-to-head matchups against the two teams. Dallas is 3-0. Scott Wedgwood played one of the games, but Ottinger had been strong. But, I mean, to me, I still think that the Avalanche with that Stanley Cup pedigree is going to be the team to beat in this division. But honestly, guys, I mean, we can talk about Colorado, Dallas, I mean, falling to a wild card and playing Vancouver. None of it really matters if the Jets don't considerably raise their level of play, because, to be honest, they will be a short out for any team if they look anything close to the team that we've been watching for the last couple of weeks.
You mentioned a shakeup coming in the top 6 and in that forward group ahead of the game against the Kings. And, Rick Bowness, I think, has been relatively patient with his lines. Is there a combination that you personally really want to see?
Well, this is it tonight, guys. I mean, okay. Kyle Connor was injured for a period earlier in the season, and it sort of coincided with Gabe Vilardi coming back from that injury that he suffered in Game 3. And for a period in December, when arguably the Jets played their best hockey of the entire season, this team was being driven by Mark Scheifele with Nikolai Ehlers and Gabriel Vilardi. And I mean, you can get into pretty much any metric. I mean, something as simple as scoring and being scored against. If you want to get into expected goals, all that, this has been the line that's been clearly the best that we've seen at any point this season. Rick Bowness has been absolutely hesitant to get anywhere near back to it. It's almost like Scheifele and Connor were together. We sometimes joke about the Jets in the past as being a union shop. It sort of got back to this point where those guys were going to be 1 and 2. If Vilardi's good to go, that was the line. And for whatever reason, Nikolai Ehlers was a guy that sort of thought to drive the second line. I had said on the show in the last couple of weeks, because this is a constant topic from fans on Winnipeg sports talking around, like, when are they going to go back to that? And I mean, there was a real stubbornness, to be honest, to the coaching staff to get to this point. And said, listen, if we do see this line again, it's probably going to come because the bottom's fallen out on this club. And that seems like what's happened over the last couple of weeks. So they put them together in Saturday's game against the Ottawa Senators. They did have about 3 high-octane shifts that I think gave people some hope. They're going back with it today. Kyle Connor's going to be playing with Sean Monahan on the second line. And we'll see whether they can get more from the top line, because not only were they not scoring, they were getting scored on far too often. And then we'll see what happens with the power play. I mean, with the team that has as much talent as the Jets have, it's almost inconceivable that you could go that long without scoring in the power play. And Frank, as you well know, I mean, it's one thing not to score, but when you're not even getting shots on 4-minute power plays, it completely sucks all the life out of everything you'd be doing up until that point. And as I said, it has been a real rough month. People very happy that we're into the month of April and putting March behind us going into tonight.
So, Huss, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they actually said, hold my beer. They went 35 straight power plays at one point this season with some legit Hall of Fame talent without scoring.
Wow.
But let's give you a little pixie dust and a magic wand. You can fix one thing before the playoffs roll around for the Jets. Is it the power play? Is it the penalty kill? Is it the first line? What do you fix if you have a magic wand with the Jets?
Well, I think it has to be the top line. I mean, as much as special teams are so important, you're fighting such a losing battle if your top line's getting caved in night after night. And listen, we know the teams and the level of competition. Like, anybody in the Western Conference playoffs is going to be going up against a beast in the first round. And your guys have to at least be able to compete at that level and be able to hold them on. I mean, I would normally go to the special teams, and I think penalty kill is what traditionally you would say is the most important thing you have to have. I think they're closer to it on the PK than they are on the power play. And as I said, we'll see what happens tonight. I mean, if they can build off scoring a goal and getting some chances late, maybe that'll be a big plus for them. But that's the thing about the Jets. They've had such a great season so far. At times, they looked like legitimately one of the top teams in the league. And they've just gotten so far away from so many aspects of it. Even just snapping your fingers and correcting one, I'm not sure is enough, Frank. I mean, they really need to come together, turn it around, hit a whole bunch of things and do them all better just to be able to compete with teams like Dallas and Colorado, because we certainly know what those teams are going to be bringing to the party come a couple weeks from now.
8 games left in the regular season for the Jets to get it sorted out. You can find him on Twitter at Hustlerama, doing great work as well with Winnipeg Sports Talk. Huss, appreciate your time, man.
Have a great one, fellas. Thanks for having me.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Seravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.